I had a little bit of money offered from Phillips from academic. And I said, you know what, I think I just need to go in and go up there and give it a try. And I went up there. I remember talking to Coach Cudjoe about it. And I said, Coach, I want to go up there and I want to try to walk on. The advice he gave me, he said, you go up there and you make sure you guard the best player out there. He goes, whoever the best point guard is, guard, you go out there and you guard him. Because that was what I did. I'd guard you. I didn't, I'd run through screens. My nickname was Hawk in high school. Like, I'm a fly around. We're going to do whatever we do. I went up there, and so my recruiting was, I was in the circle for stretching. Coach Chappell walked by me, and he asked me what size pair of shoes I needed. And when he said that, I knew I made the squad, and I was probably like, that was one of the highlights of my life.
What's up, everybody? This is Coach Love with the ROK Podcast at Dick's House of Sports. Today's guest is a proven leader, a respected mentor, and one of the most accomplished coaches in Oklahoma high school basketball. As the head coach of the Dell City Eagles, Coach Hatchett has guided his teams to multiple state tournament appearances, winning 2 state championships and finishing runner-up twice as well. But his journey started long before the gold balls. Coach Hatchett built his foundation as a player and a competitor by learning the game, living the grind, and shaping his own coaching voice through experience and adversity. Coach Hatchett is the brother of OU football legend and NFL fullback J.D. Runnels. We're diving into that family legacy, what it was like growing up in a competitive household, and how both brothers took their talents to the highest levels in different ways. We're talking championships, players, life lessons, and yes, some laughs from the locker room too. So let's get into it with the legendary Coach Lenny Hatchett. What's up, Coach Hatchett? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Coach Love. Good to see you.
Doing all right,
yep,
man?
Thanks for having me.
Man, so you stepped into a new role at the OSSAA, and tell me a little bit about that real quick.
Right now, I'm just kind of, I'm 8 days in the office.
8 days?
8
Okay.
days in, and I'm
fresh.
just learning a lot, soaking up as much as I can, working with an unbelievable staff, and just excited about the opportunity.
Okay, yeah. And so what exactly will you be doing?
I oversee cross country, 5A, 6A, boys and girls basketball, and then also track and field.
Gotcha. So let's kind of real quick. You have 2 state titles and 2 silver balls. Which one of those really meant the most to you? Like which one keeps you up at night? Do you have one in particular that kind of bothers you?
Well, we had a silver ball when I was at Santa Fe.
Yeah. Oh,
in
did you?
2015.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That was my first one.
Okay.
That was the one where we weren't expected to go to the state finals.
Gotcha.
And got to state final, got beat by Mustang.
Okay.
Terry Long.
Yeah.
But those 2 championships that we won at Dell City, and then the 2 runner-ups. I'd probably say the 2022 runner-up is one that was kind of tough to swallow. We weren't fully healthy. Didn't have Jaden Foreman that game.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Due to an ACL.
Okay.
But Tulsa Memorial was always top notch as well.
Yeah.
Billy Allison, Bobby Allison does a great job, and they've won several championships too.
Okay.
But we've had a pretty good run at Dell City since 2019 to 2023, being there every year.
Right.
And I count COVID year.
Yeah, COVID. Yeah.
COVID 2020 because we were 24-1, and that was probably the most talented, toughest group we've had.
Man,
I hated that for them.
Yeah. That was in the playoffs when they shut it down, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes it was.
Yeah. So you've coached some dogs. You've coached some gym rats. Now, who was your biggest surprise success story?
Doing it for 27 years and head for 21, you've had a lot of kids go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that just sticks out from the rest of them that has made unbelievable strides and getting where he's at now is Daquan Jeffries. Didn't get really highly recruited out of high school.
Right.
Went the JUCO route after 1 year at ORU, and now he's playing for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
And he's
his
found
thing.
his way and kept his foot in the door. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, I was hoping to try to get him on the podcast, but I know he's busy. Busy dude.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to your early years, where did everything begin for you? Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Canton, Ohio.
Ohio,
yep, home of the Hall of Fame for football.
Yeah.
And
I've been there a couple of times.
So, when we moved down here, I think I was about 10, and ended up going to starting at Lincoln Fifth Year Center, which was, I think a math and science school now over there by the OU hospital. Grew up on the east side off of Euclid with my grandmother, which is my stepfather's mom, and then we moved over on 41st off of Prospect in Park Estates and grew up over there, went to Jefferson Middle School, and, went out to Carl Albert my 8th grade year and been in Middale ever since.
When you growing up, what were all the sports that you played growing up? I mean, were you in everything?
Honestly, Coach, I pretty much grew up with a single mom for my first 10 years. And when we was in Ohio, it wasn't a lot of sports. We didn't have the means for doing that. When I got here, the sports I played is what was going on outside, which was basketball, tackle football in the yard. I didn't play any sports in middle school as far as when I was at Jefferson. So that was the sports that I just, whatever was going on outside. We was running relays out in the neighborhood. That's what we did. That's what kind of got me hooked on sports and enjoying the love of the game and just hanging out with my neighborhood guys and all those guys that we grew up with.
So you kind of just fell into basketball?
The drive started for me my freshman year.
Okay.
I remember getting cut at Carl Albert my freshman year.
Okay.
And that'll stick with me till they lay me in that grave. But that probably was the motivation that I had. And I'll never forget talking to Coach Raper. He's a Hall of Famer. Rest in peace, Coach Raper, and Patrick Cudjoe, about what you have to do to continue to stick with something if you really want to do it. And I wasn't no high profile player in high school. I knew my role. I knew exactly what we needed to do. But I was a worker, and I wasn't going to quit, and I was going to make sure that everybody that was on my team or whoever I was going against, we was going to get better at every practice. I think some of my teammates probably hated me by the way I ran my sprints and made them run extra or whatever it was. But that was just instilled in me because that was what fueled me to continue to get better. It was that 9th grade year. So pretty much, I'll never forget Coach Raper gave me an opportunity to, I'm not ashamed of. He said, "Hey, I want you to travel with the varsity. I want you to film all the games." And I just started loving the games. The next year I'm on varsity, and then Patrick Cudjoe came in our senior year, and the rest was history.
Who were some of the teammates that you played with, growing up?
When I was
or Carl Albert first.
Yeah, Carl Albert. Back then, Carl Albert, a lot of guys played multiple sports. And I think they still do. My best friend was Lynn Sexton, played running back, Wyoming. Damon Turner, another running back. Kevin Lewis.
Is that the coach at Douglas now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damon Turner. So Damon almost used to live with me. We grew up in the same neighborhood. I mean, we're still close to this day.
He coached my son. At Santa Fe.
David Guy, another basketball guy that played at Texas Tech. Kevin Lewis played at Kansas State. Big 6'9" kid that played with us. We also had a guy named David Lloyd that got a chance to play over at Rose State when they won that national championship when it was a JUCO. So those guys right there, I mean, a lot of them aren't big time, basketball names except for maybe Kevin that went to play at K-State. But there were some dudes, Ramon Bindum that came in with us and played. Man. I mean, we had some guys that would get after it. And the older guys were the ones that really, really groomed me to really love it, which was my best friend was William Woods, a.k.a. Cookie.
Okay.
That came out in 88. I think 88 at Carl Albert, played at Oklahoma State. So when William Woods really took me under his wing, he was our assistant coach. I just fell in love with the game, and he always made sure that no one's going to happen to me, and we always made sure we was going to find a way to enjoy the game of basketball.
Now, kind of rewind a little bit. Did you just have one brother, or how many siblings did you have?
I got a younger sister. Tessa was one of my younger sisters, and then JD. He's the youngest. JD and I are 10 years apart, and Tessa and I are 2 years apart.
Okay. So was it pretty competitive in the household? I mean, I guess you're 10 years older than him, so you probably...
Yeah, but we didn't take a light on him. You can ask him to this day. We enjoyed, when he started getting old enough to be outside with us, because he was always hanging out with us. Wherever we went, he went. My sister played softball. She also played a little bit of basketball. But the household was competitive because our stepdad was real competitive. He's, he graduated from Douglas and Langston, really good athlete. We just kind of fell in love because he was one of those guys that kind of showed us what football was about. And JD, football kind of came easy to him. But a lot of people don't really know is how good he was in baseball and basketball.
Oh, really?
And, so, but he definitely was blessed, and the household was competitive, but we pretty much kept it outside. Moms wasn't tolerating too much of that in the household.
Breaking stuff. Can't be breaking too much.
No, we wasn't doing that.
So tell me about your mom. So your first 10 years, it was just mom.
Correct.
You said you think, okay. How did she was she a disciplinarian, or you said she didn't take no stuff?
Yeah, she was strong. She was a strong woman. not only strong when she raised us. She battled cancer before she lost that battle. She was my rock.
Yeah.
And I know I was her. I'm a mama's boy, whatever they want to call it. And I embrace that. But she kind of went through some things that I saw when she was young that I wouldn't want to make sure that my daughter and nobody else would ever have to go through something like that as well. So I owe her a lot for the success that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all the things that she's given me.
Well, were there any other coaches as you were growing up, like any coaches that were mentors to you? That
William Woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cookie. Yeah. William was my first year as a sophomore. He was our assistant coach, and I'll never forget him taking me down to Louisiana. We used to work camps with the Spirit Express. I think it was a traveling professional team.
Okay.
Working, camps down there, Christian camps. He was the one that really, really guided me and taught me the ways of not only basketball, just about life.
Yeah.
And we had a surrounding other group of guys that was about his age that really looked after us as well.
Gotcha.
Mark Clanton, Garland Parks, Terrence Gaines, playing with them guys in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
Used to wear us out, but that's what kind of helped us get to where we were at.
We talked about JD a little bit. How would you describe your relationship with him? You said y'all didn't take it lightly on him.
No.
But so over the years, how would you describe the relationship with him?
The relationship's gotten better. It's gotten much stronger. When you have a brother that's gone through the highs and the lows of football and seeing what he had experienced when he was at OU and when he went to the Bears and getting cut by the Bengals and trying to find a spot from the UFL to just trying to find his path. As an older brother, it was hard for me to step back to continue to keep giving him that advice because I know what he was thinking. He's thinking about football, and there was nothing wrong with that. And he's had a successful career at all the levels. But we talk now on almost every other day, which I love because he's a head coach down at Mount St. Mary's Catholic High School. He's calling me about advice on how to handle certain situations. Where back then it would be, I already know. You ain't got to tell him, but I already know. Which I get. I was probably the same way. But our relationship's great, and I think probably like any other siblings, we're always gonna have disagreements, and at the end of the day, we family. We're gonna figure it out and make it right.
I had the pleasure of coaching, so we were down in Dallas together.
This last week.
That Camp Impact, and we had a few conversations and talked about a few things, man. But it's always good to catch up with him and talk with him, and talked about you and stuff. And so, but yeah, JD's a good dude. Now, I have a question: have you ever tried to tackle him in the yard? You probably wouldn't do it now, would you?
No, I'm not definitely doing it now. Not the way I'm feeling.
Man, that boy was a load, wasn't he, man?
He was. But we started out when he was probably about 9 or 10 years old. I'm talking Damon, David, Scooter, Lynn Sexton, all us. We would get on our knees and let him run the ball and hit him as hard as we could.
Really? Okay.
And we would tackle him. We would hit him with our move. I remember one time he did a flip in the air, but he was tough.
Yeah.
Like he was tough, and positions he played by being able to run the ball, I think credited to him being able to do some of those things when he was young.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's, most good athletes come from being a younger sibling and competing against the older ones.
Yeah.
So
I try to keep them around the right people.
Yeah.
And all those guys that we grew up in the neighborhood, I grew up across the street from Kenny Lee, down the street from Jeff Webster. I mean, all those guys looked up to us. Meli Brewer was in our neighborhood. I mean, that neighborhood was deep. We had a lot of guys that could play. So
I thought Jeff Webster was he went to Carl Albert.
Yeah, he went to Carl Albert.
Yeah,
he's a Carl Albert guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, Cookie was in our neighborhood. So I just tried to make sure that I wanted to keep my brother around guys that were going to be successful, tell them the right things, keep them out of trouble if I went around, and it worked out.
Yeah. If you were coaching JD in basketball, what position?
Point guard.
What kind of player would he be?
Point guard.
Point guard.
Absolutely.
He can handle a rock.
Could handle it. Probably one of the best passers I've ever seen play.
Okay. Yeah. You got any film on him?
I got some film on him.
He never talked about him himself.
I sent him some film when he was in college because some of his teammates would say he wasn't able to play basketball.
Okay.
That he couldn't dunk the basketball in high school. But he didn't play his senior year. He decided to focus on football.
Okay.
And I think he was the X factor that we probably needed to beat Booker T. Washington when they had Robert Meacham that year.
Okay.
And we were close.
Okay.
I mean, we had him on the ropes, but he was just a difference maker. I mean, nobody could take the ball from him. He'd go to the post. He was left-handed. He could pass.
Okay.
I mean, he could pass the ball like any way you wanted.
Yeah.
You know, he was just gifted.
Tell me about some meaningful rivalries that you had while at Carl Albert. Who was the biggest rival?
You know, back then, El Reno.
El Reno?
Was a big rival, you know. Aaron Howell and them dudes down there.
Now, when did you graduate high school?
Came out in 92.
Okay, I came out in 95. So I played against Aaron in El Reno.
92. I can't remember their last names. A bunch of brothers that went through El Reno.
Oh, Carters.
Yeah, the Carters.
Yeah, Wahab. Those are my cousins.
Yeah,
those are my cousins. Yeah,
those guys was always tough.
Yeah, Wahab, Chris Carter.
Yes, and you know, those games back then at Carl Albert was in a small gym.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the field house where we have right now. We call it the hot box.
Hot
you
box.
know? But it was always packed. You know, it was always packed. Dale City was always a rival. You know, so those games right there always stick out to me. Being able to get a chance to compete against those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of while we're on that, you know, I always remember when Coach Raper started that summer league. You know, when we had Northwest Class and up in them summer leagues and watching Estelle and Atkins
Big
go after
Glover,
in that other small gym.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a summer league gym that was so small, that was so packed just for a summer league game.
Yeah.
And that was basketball.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
those things right there, that's always sticks in my memory. Just being in the gym and watching people hoop. You know, and it wasn't about individual stuff. It was still team, but they were still getting theirs. You know, and those are fun games and fun guys to watch.
Yeah. Who was the most athletic player that you've seen play in high school?
That I coached?
While you were playing.
Oh,
while you were playing in high school, yeah. Was it the kids you played with? I mean, dudes.
I'd probably have to say Aaron.
Aaron Howell?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
he could jump out the gym. He was pretty tough.
Whenever we talk basketball, me and my cousins, we that's one name that always pops up.
Yeah.
They off the tip. Off the tip, somebody got it. And we looking back at him, and I always see the ball go up in the air.
It happened to us.
Boom.
It happened to us at El Reno. That's a play they ran.
Man, I was like, oh goodness.
Yeah.
I was like, man, did he just do this?
Yeah. He was very athletic. I enjoyed watching him play, man.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. Even at OCU,
yeah,
he could still get after it.
Yeah. I saw him not too long ago. I said, man, can you still get up there? He said, nah, man, these knees done had it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Howell was the dude, man. So I know you said you went to Phillips University to play basketball.
Yep.
How did your recruiting process go? Like, as far as, did you get a lot of looks from just a lot of the small schools around the state, or just?
No, absolutely. There was no recruiting.
No recruiting.
You know,
Okay.
It was coming out of high school. I ended up going to school in Wingate University down in North Carolina. I was kind of going up there to be around my grandmother. Things didn't work out up there. I come back home, do a semester at Rose. And I remembered that I had a little bit of money offered from Phillips from academic.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I think I just need to go in and go up there and give it a try.
Yeah.
And I went up there, and I remember talking to Coach Cudjoe about it. And I said, Coach, I want to go up there. I want to try to walk on. And he said, the advice he gave me, he said, you go up there and you make sure you guard the best player out there.
Yeah.
He goes, whoever the best point guard is, you go out there and you guard him. Because that was what I did. I'd guard you. I didn't, I'd run through screens. You know, my nickname was Hawk in high school. Like I'm a fly around. We're gonna do whatever we do.
Yeah.
And I went up there, and so my recruiting was, I was in the circle for stretching while we were stretching. Coach Chappell walked by me, and he asked me what size pair of shoes I needed.
That's it.
And when they said that, I knew I made the squad, and I was probably like, that was one of the highlights of my life.
Okay. So you found out when you was in a stretching squad.
I was in a stretching circle. He was going around telling everybody hi and how their day was. And he came by me and said,
"Yeah,
Lynn, what size tennis shoes you wear?"
I made it.
and tennis shoes back then, getting them from college really meant something.
Yeah.
Nowadays everybody getting shoes.
Yeah.
So but that was a defining moment for me, because I knew that my work paid off, and that coaches recognize hard work, and that's kind of what I want to be known for.
Absolutely. So now you went there for how long?
I was there a year and a half. They were getting ready to close.
Okay.
And
shut down the university?
Yeah, they were going to shut the university down.
Okay.
I think it's now JUCO.
Okay.
And so that would have been 96. I think they had one more semester. So I finished up my school at UCO.
Yeah.
And I was just ready to graduate. I was kind of called the old man, and I was ready to graduate. And, at UCO, I was majoring in physical education, where you actually have to take a physical education class.
Okay.
We were learning pickleball back in
Back then, yeah.
before it's popular.
Yeah.
Dr. Black was teaching us all that. I didn't know what we were doing. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this game? You know,
Right,
we're hitting
right,
the ball
right.
off the wall just for drills, and she's going around with a clipboard telling us. So I say that because now it's such a game that's a lifetime skill that it's, you know, people are playing for pros and all that.
Yes, yes.
So we were doing also, we had to go out and do track and field, and you actually had to do a 200. You had to run 100. And they were timing you for all that.
Okay.
And the track coach was out there watching, and he just saw me run. He just said, hey kid, you want to run some track?
Right.
I was like, you mean like for the university? And
Yeah.
he said, yeah. I said, well, I said, sure. So he said, well, I'm gonna make sure I give you some tuition. I'm gonna take care of your tuition, your books, and all that. And I said, well, I'm in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
next thing I know, I'm a quarter guy and running the mile relay. And I didn't know if I signed up for it, but it worked out.
Hey, you got some money for it. Man, that's crazy. Just saw you just out there in PE class
Yep.
or the physical.
Yep. He lost a guy, I guess. A leg was
Okay.
hurt, something. He needed somebody to come out, and he let me go out and work out with him, and it was fun. You talk
Gotcha.
about understanding discipline and understanding workouts and having to get through them.
Yeah.
That taught me a lot because Mondays weren't fun, and we knew Mondays were quarter days, and those were tough days, but it built you. It built you right.
So how many years did you?
I only had to do one.
Just 1 year?
Yeah,
Okay.
for Paul Parent.
Okay.
He was another Hall of Fame coach, so it wasn't bad. I mean, the traveling was great. Getting just getting to experience other places, teammates, things like that. People that I'm still close with to this day.
Yeah.
College teammates that are running track programs now around the state.
Yeah.
You know, which is a cool deal.
So now, how soon after you graduated college did you get into coaching?
I started actually. I was coaching while I was finishing up my classes.
Okay.
So, '98 I walked. Was when I graduated.
Okay.
And I was actually coaching girls basketball at Del Crest Middle School, which
Okay.
fed into Del City.
Del City, okay.
I was going over there doing my my observations, and Keith Brown asked me if I wanted to coach.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Keith and my stepdad were real close. They played on softball team together, the Oklahoma City All Stars.
Okay,
Which
okay.
was, you know, they're really known here in Oklahoma City. But coached girls basketball, 7th grade girls basketball is when I got started. So I was kind of, I say double dipping. It wasn't like I was getting paid because I volunteered at one.
Right.
And then I was hustling over to Carl Albert to be an assistant at the for Patrick Cudjoe. He
Okay.
gave me my first assistant job.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I just wanted to keep my feet in as any way in case any doors opened up. I knew I was getting ready to graduate. And
Yeah.
as soon as I got a job, it was already ready to go.
How many years were you able to coach with Coach Cudjoe?
So he gave him in '98. So I was assistant with him for 6 years. Well, I take that back. I was assistant with him for 4, and then he left and went to Star Spencer, and then I was assistant with Kirk Wilson, my 5th year there, and then my 6th year I stayed under Jay Price. That was the year him and I were going for the job. He got it. I stayed a year with him, worked with him for a year, and then I got the head job at Mount St. Mary's in 2004.
I did get an opportunity to coach with Coach Cudjoe this last couple of years.
Okay.
2-3 years ago, but at John Marshall.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a lot of wisdom, man.
Oh. He knows they all have a lot of basketball knowledge and been in the game for a long time.
Man, and it looked like we getting older than him. Like that dude don't age, man.
Patrick don't age.
He don't,
He don't age.
he don't age at all.
As long as you keep wearing them tight shirts,
Yeah,
he don't age.
yeah.
I tell him that all the time.
Little Kirk
I love him, he's my
Franklin.
brother. I'll go somewhere out and somebody say,
Yeah.
"Are you Patrick Cudjoe?" And I say, "Yes, I am." And then I'll call him and tell him.
Hey, I was you today. I was you. Yeah, yeah. Coach Cudjoe is a good dude, man.
Yes, he is.
So how did you balance? How do you balance the old school toughness to the players of today?
Toughness is not always about how hard you are, how physical you are. I think I was able to take that and, you know, can we be more mentally tough? You know, and when I was at Del City, our kids I felt they were already tough at the start.
Yeah.
We just needed to be more disciplined.
Okay.
So
okay.
when we got to
Yeah.
be disciplined, the toughness took care of itself.
Right,
You
right.
know, and, you know, growing up in a different era where we did play against more aggressive, more tougher guys, more older guys, but
the discipline.
that discipline
Yeah.
is what carried over.
Yeah.
You know, and those guys were disciplined as well. That was just the way the game was played. You know,
Yeah.
and nowadays it's not as physical maybe, but there's still a lot of tough players out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. So you have the, I guess we call it the honor, or the privilege, to coach with the legendary Tommy Griffin.
Yes, sir.
so
Yeah.
so Coach Tommy was my, Coach Griffin was my high school basketball coach, and watching Blake and Taylor grow up and with a little ball in their hand,
Right.
running around the gym to see them become monsters on the court, Yeah. But what was it like, how did that come about where you had them on your squad coaching with you?
I was working with the OBCA. I'll never forget, I was working with OBCA, and I was working the table at Coach's Clinic.
Okay.
We were doing registration. Tommy Griffin came by. He was registering, doing his normal coaching registering. I kind of got up. I just wanted to shake his hand because I remember just kind of knowing him, and watching his kids play, and just kind of want to introduce myself. And I'll just never forget. He said, he remembered watching me play and coach when I was at Santa Fe down at the Jinx Unit tournament because he was assistant coaching at Midwest City.
Oh yeah.
And so long story short, when he comes up to do the registration, he just kind of came up and said, if there's anything I can ever do for you, you just reach out to me and let me know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, it's July. I'm not thinking that I'm going to need anything.
Yeah.
And I got the job when I got the job at Santa Fe, I had an opening for assistant. And I knew what I needed at Santa Fe.
Yeah.
I knew what I needed. Someone with some experience, someone that could help me, evolve better as a coach. And I just gave him a call. He met me out there while I was at the track, talked to me like for a little bit. He didn't want no money. He said, I don't want the money. He said, but I'm willing to help. Well, Edmond didn't allow him to coach for free at that time.
Okay.
So I had to pay him that year. And then the next year we found a way where he could just do it voluntary.
Yeah.
But you talk about commitment and discipline, the man never missed practice. He was there before the other assistants that were getting paid.
Right.
And then he'd be one of those that would let you know, hey, I'm 10 minutes late or I'm 5 minutes late. And that right there just kind of solidified our relationship just because I knew what he was about.
Yeah.
And the things that he taught me stretched out to he was with me for 3 years at Santa Fe and then 9, so he was with me for a total of 12 years.
Man,
we developed a great brotherly bond.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah, yeah. Always a man of it. That's one phrase he would always say is, if you need anything, let me know.
Yep.
I mean, to this day, from playing with him as a player, going through college, I would come back and watch games. Hey, Coach Love, you need anything? Let me know. So
he's a one of a kind. I'm telling you, and in a good way. So I've ran into a lot of former players. I try to keep them updated on what's going on with Coach Griffin, and I mean they all just have nothing but the utmost respect for him and the things he's done, and not about the wins and all that, but just how they continue their life or what they're doing right now.
Yeah. What's one coaching lesson or philosophy did you pick up from Coach Griffin, or does he still influence you as far as?
Oh, he still influences me to this day. I try to call him as much as I can throughout the week, checking on him. The one thing that he's really instilled in me is that, stick with what you believe in.
Okay.
If you believe in that we need to run this or this type of defense, then let's make it work.
Yeah.
Don't just jump off and go in something different every time. Like, let's continue to keep working on it. And let's break it down. His words were, let's add layers to it. Let's just add layers to it. And I started really realizing that after our first couple of years at Dale City. Actually about 2015, we got to that state finals.
Yeah.
And and the group that we had coming back, we knew we had enough talent. And they were just bought in.
Yeah.
And he was a huge part of that. But just sticking with the philosophy that I wanted, that I felt, and making sure the kids went through it and did what they're supposed to do. That kind of that's still to this day, even in my new job. Believing what I'm going to do and make the best of it.
Yeah. Did I can see him doing this? Did he ever pull you aside? Kind of pull up his pants. Hey, let's do this.
Well, it's funny you asked that question. There was a time in the state tournament, I think in 2021, we played Edmond Memorial.
Yeah.
And I think we came out of a timeout, and he did
he
pulled it up.
Yeah.
But he just gave me that look.
Yeah.
It was just that look, because I asked him a question about something. He just gave me that look and said, "What do you think? What do you want to do?"
Yeah.
And I went with it, and he just kind of did it again. And we went with it, and it worked.
Yeah.
But I've seen that look. I've seen that. But he's never been to the point where he says, this is what we need to do. It's always been, take this home, think about it.
Yeah.
If you think it's going to work, then let's come back in and work on it tomorrow.
Okay.
And that really eased my mind, because when you got a guy that's won so many games and so many championships, he never tried to overstep. He wanted me to evolve and become the coach that I was able to be till today. And and I have like I said, I owe so much to him, but just him giving me that freedom. You know, I never felt like he was looking over my shoulders or telling my kids something totally different than what I'm telling them. Yeah. And that I know that goes on a lot in today's basketball. Yeah. You know, you got a lot of guys telling them one thing and the head coach telling them one thing. So we were always on the same page, and terminology was huge for us.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he's a great. I mean, those are leadership qualities.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yep.
lead by following.
Yes.
I mean, you know, and letting you lead, letting you do your thing. So, what did the players think when they realized it was Blake Griffin's dad on the squad? Did they realize who it was when he first came on?
I think several of them probably went home and YouTubed or Googled it to figure it out. When we told them some of the kids at Dale City, they're like, huh?
Yeah.
And but it took them a little bit of time.
Okay.
You know, and you know, the thing that I think really changed our culture at Dale City, and I know I'm kind of maybe going off the question, was those guys that we coached at Dale City knew that Coach Griffin and I was going to be there every day. Mm-hmm. If I missed, I felt bad. Yeah. Like if it was, I don't think I ever took a sick day. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember Deshaun would text me or call me and say, "Coach, you good? You're not here today." You know, you know, I had to do something with my son or whatever it was. But you know, the stability of what those kids seen on a consistent basis is what I think kept our culture together. Yeah. And that was huge of the things that our coaches did.
Yeah. What were some of the struggles that you guys faced during the seasons on and off the court?
You know, I don't think there were really no more different struggles than anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to make sure our kids was fed. Mm-hmm. We wanted to make sure our kids was getting home. Yeah. We wanted to make sure that they knew that they had a safe haven when they came to that gym, that we was going to take care of them and whatever they needed. Did we have some issues that went down at Dale City through my years that were uncontrollable? Absolutely. But all of our kids have always stuck together within the community, within their kids, within our program. And I think that's why our slogan was always, you know, built different. You know, we knew we were built different, but we're gonna make sure we handle it the right way.
You had some very successful athletes coming through there, and I guess is that one of your biggest rewards, is seeing them later on in life, and as far as what they've done?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, all my guys, since we was at Dale City, you know, they look after my son. You know, just walking in Dick's, you know, and Deshaun's hollering down Liam over the deal, you know, those give me goosebumps because I know that we made an impact on those kids. And those kids calling me on Father's Day and my birthday and congratulations on the new job, you know. Even guys that you know, may not have played as much as they wanted to, didn't have, you know, maybe the success that they thought, are still today, guys know that I'm here for them, and all you got to do is reach out. If I can help you out, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah,
those are my wins.
Yeah,
you know, the championships are great. Yeah, but you know, just seeing those guys stay successful, stay in school, stay in college, you know, staying out of the streets is a huge win for me, because I know there's a lot more influences going on right now than there ever was when I was growing up. Right. You know, and I think as a coach we have to open up and listen a little more. We have to make sure that we're a little more involved with these guys, and you know, I feel sometimes, you know, young black men, it's hard for them to open up to us. They don't want to talk to us a little bit. So they would always be shocked when I found out something that was going on. You know, I'd always tell them my ears are to the streets, or I got people gonna let me know. Yeah. And they, you know, they kind of know what was going on, but we want to make sure our guys were always good and taken care of. Yeah,
that's one thing. A phrase that I heard from a previous podcast interview was, "It's not all about the championships; it's about the relationships."
Absolutely.
And so, and that's good that you as a coach can continue to, I mean, and me as well. You know, I have kids that I saw just earlier today coming in and saying what's up to me, and hey, what's going on, coach? How you doing? Telling me about what they're doing now, where they're playing. And so, those are good things.
Absolutely.
Now, the 2020 COVID season, they had to shut down the playoffs. How did your players cope with that, the sudden loss of the opportunity to win a state championship?
I was just at I was just at Nate Goodlow's wedding.
Okay.
And we were talking about it.
Montre
Crutchfield was there. Darius Crutchfield, his brother. I'm still coping with it. I think they are too. Yeah, and I say coping, but I still think about it a lot. I still think about it a lot because I'll never forget what we were doing. We were driving on the bus and exited the exit to go to Skytook.
Yeah.
And we pulled over at a gas station to watch the live feed from OSSAA about them shutting down the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I was just sick to my stomach. Like I was like, this game, like we're gonna play tomorrow. They're gonna shut it. We're gonna be good. We're gonna play tomorrow. I said, guys, I'll let you know. Give you a call. Some of the kids got in their mom's car and went ahead and went back home. And we just kind of stayed quiet on the bus all the way back home. And then when we got the confirmation that we weren't playing at all, and I couldn't see my guys, like that was just weird. That was a difficult process to understand, and those things right there, I'll never forget. And then back then you got admin trying to tell you what you need to do to, what we can and can't do, and. It was just a weird time for everybody. And so that 2020, because, when Nate Goodlow came in as a freshman with that group, they came from Kerr. I'll never forget, they told me, they said, Coach, we're going to win a state championship before we graduate. They said, we're going to win one.
Yeah.
Nate started for me as a freshman, and he was the first freshman that started for me at Dale City.
Wow.
And we didn't get it in 2019.
Okay.
Runner-up, to Tulsa Memorial.
Yeah.
But that 2020 group, when we was 24-1,
I knew I was gonna run away with it.
They were special. I think when we really started knowing how good we were is when we got invited to the Tournament of Champions in 2020.
Okay.
And when we went up there and knocked off Tulsa Memorial,
mopped everybody,
and took care of Bryce Thompson, all them dudes that was over there from that squad. I mean, we just had some guys that just played hard. They played together. They were special.
Yeah. What I saw where there was an NBA player that came and shot around in the gym and ended up having COVID.
Well,
was it Mitchell or
it was Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. So that's kind of how all that got started.
Okay.
I'm good friends with Irv Rowland, and Irv called me and said, "Hey man, Donovan needs a gym to shoot around in." I was like, "I'm still here. Just have him call. Have his guy call me." His guy called me. Mm-hmm. We opened up door. He just went on one end down there with his crew. They shot. I wanted to make sure my son, because I'm big on my son's meeting NBA guys, professional guys.
Absolutely.
And my son was there, and I'll never forget, we took a picture with him. I had my son take a picture with him, and that picture, I posted it. Nice to meet a true, future Hall of Famer, one of the top guards in NBA. And, man, when that COVID came out, because Gobert was the one that kind of did the microphone deal, and then he said he was, having COVID. That article went out, and they was just killing me and my son. We're like, get your grave ready. I mean, it was. Really? My wife didn't look at it. Wow. My wife didn't even want to look at it. Some of the comments that people was making on social media.
So they're blaming y'all?
No, well, it was like. They weren't blaming us,
but just because
but because we were there and it was at Dale City.
Yeah.
I still think that there was some schools that may have called and said they didn't want to play. Dude, that's just what I'm kind of saying.
I can see that. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
But I think there was a lot that probably didn't want to play because nobody knew. Nobody knew what this COVID was.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I took that picture with, where my son took that picture with Donovan, it just kind of rips you apart, like how cruel people can be and be behind a screen, what they want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got shut down, and so I don't know if that was one of my. People how they remember me was that I helped get the state tournament shut down. But I think it was a little more to it than just that meeting with Donovan.
Man, that's crazy. So now, I mean, how many times are you Super 5 coach of the year?
Twice.
Twice? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I say you're the first and only coach that has won it back-to-back?
We haven't won it back-to-back.
Huh?
We didn't win it back-to-back.
No, I'm talking about you're the Super 5 coach of the year, where you have the Oklahoman, they have the top 5 players. You said you didn't win it back-to-back?
Well, I won it, I guess, they gave it to me in 2020.
Uh-huh.
So they did give it to me in 2020, and then they gave it to me in 21.
Okay, yeah.
That's when we bumped up to 6A in 21.
Okay, but you're the first coach to ever have done that. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, so I saw that. I was like, man, that's impressive. But,
I did not know that.
But so now that you know that, what does that mean to you? I mean, I don't know.
It goes back to, I think, the hard work and consistency and discipline that we continue to keep doing. And, you got to have great players. I had a great coaching staff. They helped me get all those awards. And, I mean, those are great. If I can find an article, I can put them in a frame and put them in my new office. But I just being able to do those type of things are to me are just something I want my son and my daughter to be able to look up to. My younger players and know that you don't have to be a great player growing up, but if you really put your mind to something and keep working, keep yourself around the right people, you can have some success. Some of those right people can open up a lot of doors for you.
You're right. Now, how many years have you coached? 20? You said 27 years?
27.
21
is ahead.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you got to reach back in your mind, man.
I know.
Who was the most athletic player you've ever coached?
Daquan Jeffries.
Daquan Jeffries? Okay. If you could gather any five players you've coached for a pickup game, who's on your team?
Oof.
Daquan, of course.
I'm picking Daquan.
Daquan, okay.
I'm going to go Brandon Garrison.
BG.
I'm going to go Keandre Young.
Okay.
I'm going to go Nate Goodlow.
Okay. Yep.
That fifth one, there's a couple that could be borderline, but I'm gonna probably say, I think I know who you're gonna say, but I'm gonna say Deron Mims.
Okay.
From Santa Fe.
Yeah. Yep. He ended up playing in the league a little bit, didn't he?
Well, he played for Angelo State.
Okay.
He was one of my assistant coaches. I hired him down at the middle school.
Okay.
He's now, I think, going to be an assistant over at Grant for girls. I know he was doing a lot of stuff with that Puma circuit, being one of the supervisors.
Okay, yeah.
But when Deron was playing, he could guard anybody.
Yeah.
And he could get to the basket. But that's not a bad five.
No,
I got a second five that could probably, play
I
with
know
two.
You got some more. I know, yeah. I already know you got some more. Shoot. But yeah, that's a good group of kids. Yeah, Daquan Jeffries.
Well, that group, it was, Daquan, Deron Mims. We got Tyler Williams, which is one of my assistant coaches at Dale City. He played at finished up at SNU. Played a little pro as well. Connor Johnson, James Bagwell, assistant coach down at Southwestern, down in Weatherford.
Okay.
I mean, it was a good group. Justin Hanson that played football at Santa Fe.
Yeah.
I think if we could have got him out his senior year, we may have been able to make the state tournament 2 years in a row.
Right.
Because that man could play.
Big boy.
He could play.
Yeah. If you had to pick, who was your most clutch player in pressure moments?
Clutch player in pressure moments. A lot of people don't know about him, but he's an assistant coach at Murray State, a kid named Justin Wagner.
Justin Wagner?
One of the twins.
Okay.
He hit some big shots. He probably hit more shots to tie a game or win a game. And he ain't nothing but 5'8".
Okay.
5'9".
Yeah.
And probably second would have to probably say Slim. Keandre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That was Slim. Who was the tallest player you've ever coached?
Brandon Garrison.
Brandon?
Yes.
Was he 16? No.
He's 6'10".
6'10"? Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the shortest?
The shortest, I'm probably going to say Damaris Beasley. It got to be Beasley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's 5'6".
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
That boy, he was a little good point guard, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A little tough thing, man.
Yeah.
The best leader you've had in the locker room?
Leader, it's going to be really, really close. I'd probably have to say, Justin Wagner was a big-time leader in our locker room. And then, and Daquan. Because when Daquan talked, everybody stopped and listened. He was probably the most humble young man. Never said anything. But if he said something in practice picked up like that. And those type of guys' voices carry.
Yeah.
And kids, their teammates know we better hook it up.
Right.
So consistently, I'd have to say those two.
The smartest basketball mind, like who was a coach on the floor?
Gosh.
Was it Wagner?
I had two of them, Wagners. Jeremy and Justin.
Okay.
They were coaches' extensions.
Okay.
They made my job so much easier.
Are they coaching now?
They are. They're assistant coaches at Murray State.
Murray State, okay. Okay. Most naturally gifted, but needed the most pushing.
I really think that a kid named Deshaun McCarroll.
Okay.
Deshaun McCarroll. Okay. Once we finally got that little push and get that edge on him, he really showed out and became a really good high school basketball player.
Okay, got you. Most improved player over their time with you?
Percy Green.
Percy Green?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2023, I think teams were more focused on how to stop him versus how they were going to handle Brandon.
Okay.
Just because he could light it up and have great games, and he was athletic and he could rebound, and he's just an unbelievable young man to coach.
Okay. Who was the coldest shooter that you ever had?
The coldest shooter?
Yeah. Who could shoot lights out?
Ooh, that's between Justin and Slim, Keandre, those two
could light it up. Huh?
could fill it up.
Okay.
I've watched Keandre. I do a drill with him where he can't miss 2 threes in a row at the end of practice, and he did this actually in front of Oklahoma Christian.
Yeah.
And this was like 8 a.m, and he's in that right corner. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he went 30. He hit 32.
Dang.
Without missing 2 in a row.
Really?
And then he went to the next spot, and he was like at 24. Like we charted him down.
Yeah.
But he loved that drill, and he was a gym rat. Like he enjoyed getting in the gym and getting better.
Okay.
So
who always had trouble showing up on time?
Liam, you want to answer that question?
Marshawn?
Hurry up. Hey, I'm not even going to answer that. It's funny because we were going over these questions in the car, and he read that question. He goes, I already know who this is. Who is it?
Marshawn Graham.
Marshawn Graham. Okay. Which player had the eyes in the back of their head? Who could drop the dimes? Who's Bealey?
Yeah. Yeah, he can make some passes, boy. He makes some passes that would drive me nuts, and he makes some passes I'm thinking, how'd he make that pass?
Yeah, how'd he make that?
But he could pass that ball.
Did you ever have a player that thought they were the ladies' man that they had?
I don't know about the ladies' man in Dale City.
Thought they could get all the girls.
He was real quiet about, I think, doing it. But Tyler Williams had some ladies.
Okay. Yeah, I believe.
I hope he's watching this podcast.
Yeah,
I hope his
that,
fiance is in.
Yeah. He just show up.
Yeah. He was just real quiet, good-looking young man. So
life after coaching, man. So you have your son here. What's your name, young man?
Liam.
Okay. So tell me about you have a daughter.
I do.
And how Malia? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's a basketball player as well, or does she?
She's volleyball, basketball, and track.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your wife? How?
And my wife, she's from Sweden. My wife's from Sweden. Came down here to play tennis at OCU, and those are the foundation of the. She keeps the household intact.
Yeah.
So we're going on 18 years this year in August 4th. Yep.
Congratulations, man. Yeah. And Liam, what sports do you play?
Basketball and football.
Basketball and football. What position in football?
Wide receiver and corner.
Okay. Yeah, you playing the real positions, man. Good. Man, Coach, what's the biggest lesson coaching has taught you about yourself?
I think the biggest lesson that coaches has taught me is that, you can draw up a play, you can you can put something thinking it's going to work, and it's not going to work. And you better have a counter and be ready for something. Better be ready for something.
Okay,
and
that's good. Yeah.
I try to carry that in life, because you never know what you're going to interact with, and you better be ready to have a response or how you're going to handle it.
Right.
And so I'd probably say those type of things.
Okay. How do you help kids grow as people and not just players? Or what
when we talk at when I was at Dale City, we started this. I think we may have started in 2019, 2020. But we started doing, kind of like some motivational type deals at the end of practice, right when we started playoffs.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure practice was only an hour and a half. At that hour and a half, we were heading down into our film room or our hospitality room, whatever you want to call it. And I asked each coach a different day, and then I bring in a special guest, but just give them a life lesson. Talk about
I remember you posting
something maybe
those.
about outside of basketball, And after every year we started doing, our kids really started looking forward to doing that. Okay. A lot of them talk about some of those moments that they remember to this day. But I just want them, like I said, I want them to be good dads, good husbands. When they get in that real world, we talk about that and how to treat people right, how to be thankful, be grateful for what you have. And for the most part, most of these young men have done that.
Okay. Have you've seen the movie Back to the Future?
I have.
You have? Okay. So when Marty gets in a DeLorean and goes back in time and sees his younger self, and what would you tell Oh, what would you say to the first year Coach Hatchett? If you could go back in time, what would you tell that first year coach?
I mean, that first year was rough for me, Sean. At Mount St. Mary's, I didn't win a game. We were 0-22.
Oh, man.
But that year taught me a lot.
Okay.
That year taught me a lot, and it taught me that I need to be a little more patient.
Okay.
I wasn't patient when I was young. I wasn't.
You want to win right now.
I wanted to win right now, because I came from a winning program when I was at Carl Albert.
Yeah.
And you have to learn patience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes goes with anything.
Gotcha. Well, Coach, man, I appreciate it. I know you had to making a little flex in the schedule
I appreciate
to be here. And
I appreciate you working with me and having this. You got this as a great opportunity, and just doing it for Oklahomans and recognizing former athletes, coaches, all the people that you do. You do a hell of a job, and I have a lot of respect for what you do, and putting this out there is always going to be good.
Yeah.